Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here after Carlisle have drawn 0-0 at home against Doncaster Rovers in what wasn't a stale and boring 0-0 game at all. Look, going into this game, if you'd have offered me a 0-0, I'd have absolutely, taken your hand off. But at the minute, I'm more disappointed that we haven't won, which, is... I feel like I said that at Bromley. And look, the performance kind of speaks for itself. We played really well today. We were the better team by quite a bit, I think. I think particularly in the first half we were by far the better team, and the kind of last 10-20 minutes of the second half we were as well. Is this a turning point for Carlisle? I don't know. I really thought we'd won it in the 93rd minute, but a rare good decision from this set of officials today, but it was offside in the end. Kelly was offside after he made his 10-minute cameo, which very surprised he didn't get injured, but hopefully he is on the way back to being a consistent player for us at the very least, even if it's not one we can rely on fully. But yeah, look, I think the big cause of our success today was that midfield three. Harper, I think that's the best game he's played in a Carlisle shirt. I think I've been kind of shaky and I've been kind of unsure about him in a midfield role, but I think he was by far our best midfielder today, which is a lot considering he's a left-back. Callum Guy played fantastically well, and Dominic Sadie in front of him. I think they were the kind of midfield three. You could include Kadeem Harris in that as well, but I think he was more advanced, more further forward. They were our midfield three when it came down to having a midfield three, and there was a lot of passes between them three players, and I think they were a big part of how we controlled the game in the first half. Dominic Sadie, one of his best games for us. I think all them three players all had fantastic games, and I think that's, it put us on the front foot. They couldn't get the ball off us in the midfield, and we kept winning the ball back. I think our defence was good. I think that's probably Sam Lavell's best game for Carlisle, or at the very least this season. As our captain, it's good to see him, because I think he's had quite a good, consistent run of games now, where I think, look, if you'd have told me that Sam Lavelle was going to be our starting centre-back this season after, the performances of last season, I'd have thought you were mental, especially with the signings of Terrell Thomas and Aaron Hayden. But, Aaron Hayden coming back today from illness, Terrell Thomas has got himself injured again on international duty. And what I can say for Sam Lavelle is, although he doesn't always put in a 10 out of 10 performance, he's available, which is a lot more than you can say for Aaron Hayden and Terrell Thomas this season. Yes, Hayden played today, but, two injury-prone players there. And like I said last week, the best ability is availability, and Sam Lavelle's always available. I can't remember the last time he got an injury, if he even has at Carlisle. And he's played with that mask on, and it's turned him into a new player. I think he's played really, really well. John Mellish, I think, had a good game, although got booked in a stupid way, which I believe makes him suspended now. I could be wrong on that front, though. I think our only real weakness today was Ben Williams. I just don't like him at left back. And look, I really like Cameron Harper in the midfield, but surely we've got a better left back, or at least one to come in January that's better than Ben Williams, because he was a liability against Bromley and he caused the penalty, and I think he was a bit of a liability today as well. He drifts too far central, he follows people out from that wing back position, and he leaves too much space. Every attack they had seemed to come back from that from our left back position, and I think in a team of good performances today, he kind of let the side down. But I'm not going to be too negative today. Another clean sheet for Gabriel Breeze. He did make one big mistake that he very much got away with, where he fumbled coming and taking a cross. But I'd much rather a keeper comes for that ball than doesn't, which I don't think Harry Lewis even comes out or off his line for that ball. And what you can say now for Gabriel Breeze, he got man of the match and, made some fantastic saves, as he seems to do every single week now. It's 2 clean sheets out of 3 games now in the league. The only goal he's conceded has been a penalty. It's very hard to fault him, even though he did make one mistake today. His kicking's getting better. He comes off his line a lot more, and he's always been good at that. But I mean, when we're in possession, he comes out and he almost becomes part of that back four. And he's an available pass all the time. It's almost like what Pep Guardiola tries to do with Edison. Maybe not quite at that level, but it's the same idea. And I think for the first time today, you could really tell that Ben Williamson's... not Ben Williamson... God, I can't remember his name now, but the manager. Mike Williamson, of course. His style of play is really starting to pay off, and I think, we played well in his style of play today, and we probably should have been ahead. Adu Adjei missed a good chance in the first half. There was the offside goal, of course. Aduaji had another one where he should have got a shot away. Georgie Kelly, I think maybe should have got a shot away at one point. We had good chances. We weren't always getting shots off in good chances, but we were getting the ball into good areas. Which, look, I think we were the better attacking team today, even though we couldn't score. We were the better at making chances. We had the best chances. That fantastic save in the 95th minute that would have won us the game from their keeper. Fantastic save. I thought it was going in. It didn't go in, of course, because and it seems like we've been the victim of very good goalkeeping displays a lot this season. Tickle comes to mind, fantastic name. The Wigan goalkeeper, when we played them, another young goalkeeper to almost compare to Breeze, but yeah, all in all today, a good draw. It's a good point. It's a point that I'd have taken before the game, but we probably should have won it with the chances we had. Something I want to touch on as well. Jack Ellis played today as almost a centre back, and yes, he's played that role before, but I mean, I've always preferred him as a right back, but I did think he played quite well in the kind of right of a back three. He doesn't have the height that a Hayden has, or Terrell Thomas has, or even a John Mellish has, but what he does have is fantastic passing. I think he's really good with the ball at his feet. And when you're in control of a game and when you're in possession a lot, which we were when he came on the pitch, it shows how good a player he can be. I think he's more built for being a right back, but it's really good to know that we have him there as an option when Ben Barkley isn't available, Terrell Thomas isn't available. But yeah, what else did I want to talk about? George Kelly coming back, of course. Look, he could get injured in training next week, and look, I'm really glad he's back. He played well. Obviously, he was the one that was offside, but the goal that wasn't a goal wouldn't have gone in without him being in that offside position and kind of getting the touch and laying it off to Harper. So I'm not really going to fault him too much for that. I think he looked sharp. I think he won pretty much every header, and of course he's that kind of striker. But so far in his Carlisle career, he hasn't proved that he can be available, and he hasn't proved that he can be a consistent starter. I'd absolutely love him to be, because I think he's a good player, but for now, I'm going to stick with the idea that we can't rely on him, and until I'm proven otherwise. I hope I'm proven otherwise, but so far my experience and what I've learnt from watching him is that we'll get 10 minutes out of him and then he'll be injured next week. So hopefully I'm proved wrong there. But yeah, Breeze, man of the match, I agree with, but I think Harper could have been it as well. I think he was probably my man of the match, as well as Sam Lavelle, of course. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. It was a good performance. It was a good performance, and we go into Crewe, who, if Crewe win the games in hand, they could go top of the league. It's 2 difficult games back to back. If we can get another point or even a win, and we managed to get 4 points out of Doncaster and Crewe, which are, our toughest games of the season on paper. Imagine. I just feel like things are starting to turn around now. Results kind of went our way in the other fixtures. Morecambe and Swindon played, and Morecambe won, which, yes, it puts us bottom. But in the grand scheme of things, if Swindon had won, yes, we wouldn't have been bottom, but we'd have also been, 3 points off them and 3 points off safety. Whereas now, we're only in the relegation zone on goal difference. That we're more likely to get out of the relegation zone next week with the Morecambe win than we would have been if it was a Swindon win, put it that way. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I feel like I've missed some things, because there was a lot of talking points in that game. Maybe the red card, which came a bit too late. Maybe the red card that probably should have happened in the first half. There's a lot to talk about with this game. But all in all, in conclusion, good point, good performance. We just need to start scoring. And maybe Georgie Kelly can be the answer to that. But I'm not holding my breath. Thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.